Good morning. I'm watching today's video that's about to be uploaded. I'm probably my biggest fan. I love watching my own videos. I'm up here at the excavator because I think I'm gonna run this for a while, but it's out of fuel. So I'm gonna get it fueled up. Since it is starting to get pretty cold out throughout the nights and stuff, I think I'm gonna treat the fuel. Most of all of you know that diesel can gel and in cold conditions it'll freeze up. So up north here, you guys down south rarely have to worry about this. Up north we gotta treat our diesel if we don't have #1 fuel, aka winter blend. And we don't, because that stuff's expensive. You know, I'm not sure how much fuel this thing takes, so we're just gonna dump the whole thing in and call it a day. It says right there on the bottle, overuse is not harmful. Give me 3 more gallons, we'll dump her in. Whew. It's like my points are getting a little wore down. I'm gonna fire the big girl up. I don't know, there's something about these case engines or whatever engine is in this big thing. They just start on a dime. Doesn't really matter if it's cold, you click the key, they fire. And that was one thing that we were told too when we were looking to purchase a large excavator like this. The deers, we were looking at deer, they don't start when it's cold or in high elevation, which we're not in high elevation here. They really struggle getting them started. And same with cats. Cats were a little bit better, but they still struggle to get those started. And they said case fired up every time. Like, wow, we live in cold temperature, that sounds like the one for us. So far, we just got it this spring. It's been an awesome machine. Just trying to keep the pins always super greased so we don't slop them out, because that'll be expensive if them get slopped out. And it is super fun to run. I love to run it. I love running it when I get the chance to actually run it. Brandon took back the air compressor that we're using to blow off the combines, and they're gonna move more of the stuff around the farm, moving houses still, so I gotta go in this. Oh, we're full. I turned the gas bowl off on the pump so that way it runs out of fuel, winterizing it, because I don't know that we're gonna use it anymore this year after this tank. We might, but I'm gonna take this home, put it back in the heated shop so we have warm fuel, and then come up with my Suburban. So in a few videos ago, I got a bunch of comments saying, those rock are unreal, you have so many rock, or I'm not gonna complain about my rock anymore. Because look at this, there's a lot of rock. But one thing I have never mentioned is all these rock, we've already went across this one time and picked a pass of rock. By what I mean pick a pass of rock is we went across it, cleaned it off, and we went through with the chisel plow, and that many came back up again. This entire pile here, that's bigger than my house, all came off that hill behind me. This 3 acres-ish here made this massive rock pile. Now granted, yeah, there is some dirt in here, but when you really get to pulling it apart, there's not much dirt in here actually. This is more of the bigger ones that came off first. We're working on the second pass here now. It'll probably be 3 passes before we get sift through it enough to where you actually have enough dirt. But like I've said before, it's good heavy soil, grows good crops, so if we can get the rock off of it, where the rock are is where the good soil is. If we can get the rock off it, it can be good production land. Well, I've been running the excavator, digging out rock and raking them up, and it sometimes blows my mind. I see it every day, but how these rock can just keep on giving. The ground's pretty frozen too, so there's a lot of dirt lobs. It's hard to tell what's a rock sometimes and what's a frozen chunk. But I'll start raking rock back, and then all of a sudden hit a big one or a solid one in the ground. I'll dig that out and there'll be 50 more with it. Well, I'm gonna walk back to my Suburban and go get a grease gun so I can get that thing greased. I at least like to grease it twice a day if I can, just to keep them pins good and tight, keep it like a new machine. Well, I got my grease gun, and it even pumps. Got that good John Deere synthetic grease, it's green. You gotta love it when you're greasing and it just likes to spew out everywhere. It also doesn't help any when some dummy puts the bucket in the air 10 feet. Now I might be over greasing by greasing these pins twice a day, but I'd rather over grease than replace these pins. Grease is cheap compared to these pins. All grease isn't cheap either, but if a guy had to replace all them, that would not be cheap. Wouldn't it be fun just to give it a try? Like, I could destroy it. It would be just complete destruction. Nope, I can't do that. I like my Suburban too much. Easy work for this big beast. We got another big mamma jamma here. The mini excavator would have struggled to get that one. Man, am I grateful for this large excavator. This just works so good. These super thick areas, I just keep raking it back and make a pile. Now the payloader will come along and scoop it up. And now it's not so thick. We can actually get the chisel plow to go through this, and there won't be such big ones, and the hay buster should get it picked up real nicely. The monthly prescription or subscription for the rock aerobics here was $9.99, but anybody that wants to come do some free workouts now, it's free $99. You can have all the rock aerobics you want. Pick them all by hand, knock yourself out. It's working super good right now too, because the ground's frozen. I just take that bucket and just keep raking them back. It doesn't sink in so bad. It's oddly satisfying cleaning land up like this. It just takes a lot of time. So I'm not too sure how, but this rock right here came flying up and hit my window right there, and it didn't break. I thought for sure the window was shattered. I'm mind blown right now. I was raking back, it bounced off another rock and flew up. It was a big one. Guess I gotta be a little bit more gentle. Now that harvest is over, I've been trying to work on my health and getting myself a little healthier. So I've been doing some nice cold plunges down here at the lake. They're fun, but they're not at the same time. So time to get in. That's cold. Time to sink down. Oh, gotta love it. I'm gonna address a few comments that I've been seeing. One is, you moved, nobody meant, or you didn't mention you moved. Yes, I moved. This is where I moved to. 2.5 miles away from the farm. We have a neighbor over here, and I am renting his house. It's a nice little remodeled house and a little garage. They no longer farm, and they went south. So yeah, I rent their place for now. Who knows how long? Who knows, but for now, it's a cute little house. Works great for me, gives me my own space. I love it. We have a flat tire again. Always something. Oh, we also got a locked door. Because of that dog, she always opens the door and helps herself in. Yeah, you. There we go. It has a hole in it somewhere, but I refuse to look because I think it's the rim. So I want to address a few more comments. Everyone kept saying get a grapple bucket, get a skeleton bucket for the skid steer, get a bucket for the skid steer and use a skid steer. We have one, guys, right here. And in my opinion, not paid, Jenkins out of Minnesota makes the best skeleton bucket for a skid steer. They are the best, well-built, standing up bucket. We did have to reinforce this grapple on this side very heavily, but this bucket has had some extreme abuse, especially with how many rock you guys saw we have. And it is on the biggest Bobcat makes, the S850, so a lot of power going to that little piece of steel. Yup, now this is starting to look like December in North Dakota. We were getting so lucky, it was staying away, and now it's here, it's coming, it's snowing. So I want to go back to that skeleton bucket comment, and like I was saying, we have one. I love the comments, I love the suggestions and stuff. I always love learning things, and I'm not perfect at everything. But when the rock are this thick, as you guys saw, a skeleton bucket like that would just suck. I've done it before, it's how we always did it in the past. But now that we have this large excavator, this works substantially better, because if I'm going along in them thick rock, I make it 2 feet and my bucket's completely full of rock already. And a lot of times, a lot of the dirt does not completely screen out, especially if it's not good and dry. Also, now the ground's frozen, so that skeleton bucket really wouldn't work either. There was one comment saying the skeleton bucket leaves behind all the dirt. What I'm doing with the excavator here also leaves behind all the dirt. Look at these rock piles. They are nice and clean. A little bit of snow on them now, but there's no dirt in them. I'm able to rake them. I use the teeth and just kind of keep raking it back on top of the dirt. It works really good. On this 1.5 acre hill, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 rock piles this size, little rock piles. I don't know if I'd call them little either, them are pretty big. 17 rock piles, I lied, I missed one, they're behind the hill over there. I missed 2. So, yes, the skeleton bucket works, but when it's this thick, the excavator works way better. It is super nice to have it. It leaves it fairly clean. There's a few smaller ones out here that the hay buster will be able to come along real nicely now and pick all those up. But please keep leaving comments like that. I love seeing them, love hearing them. But for this situation, the excavator is way quicker and way faster, and it's way less hard on the skids here, because yeah, it's ridiculous. No wonder it hasn't been farmed yet. And also, another thing, when I'm going along with the skeleton bucket, I'm scooping rock and I hit a solid rock on the ground, I really can't get that rock dug out with that big skeleton bucket. I can if I really work at it, but it takes a lot and it's a never-ending battle. With the excavator, I'm scraping along. If I hit a solid rock, I'm able to just pluck it out real quick. But enough talking, I'm gonna get to work. So for some reason, one oddly satisfying sound to me is like if you have a bucket full of rock and a payloader and you dump them and they're rolling and bouncing on rock, or like when I'm raking this forward toward me and the rock are all bouncing off each other. I don't know, it's just an oddly satisfying sound. What do you guys think? I'll put you out there so you can hear it. This excavator works so good for this though. Look at that, I got a perfectly clean rock pile. Just off that little area there, you can see where it's not snowed on.